and welcome to the BioFit With Us podcast, episode 7.
That was tremendous.
I did it.
I dropped it on Shannon before we started recording. I was like, Shannon, you're going to intro this one for the first time. I didn't let her overthink it. I just was like, this is what you're saying, and you're saying it now. Well done. Fair play.
I'm your host, Shannon Higgins. This is my co-pilot, Kyle. No Gary.
It's no Gary after Gary dominating the last 7 shows. It's not Gary.
He's gotten the sack.
Yeah, Gary's got preparation for a stag. I don't know what type of stag it is that you need this much preparation for, but like, he's not here today.
Worse than a hen. Where is the stag? Do we know that much?
No, he just told me he's got a stag. I probably should ask more questions on that, but I know he's away till Tuesday. Might actually
First time from Freddie as well.
I might actually message him whilst we're on the podcast and see if he can get back to me. Where is your stag? But yeah, no, he's away.
It's not his stag. He is just attending said stag.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, him and Rachel aren't engaged, so it's not.
They're in the club.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, I see the tears rolling down your face there, Shannon.
Taylor Swift is engaged before me. What is this?
Do you want to? Oh, jeez, I don't even want to hear any more about Taylor Swift. Well, I don't even need to follow Taylor Swift because I just hear from Tara constantly what's going on with Taylor Swift.
Or Jen. Isn't Jen a big fan? Jen likes a bit of Taylor. I thought she liked Taylor Swift. Did you not go to a Taylor Swift tribute or something before?
Absolutely not. None of that, no.
Oh, here I'd be making up stories. I am convinced you went to some tributing.
No, she's a big Justin Bieber fan, but no Taylor Swift.
Oh, gone down a wee bit there, Jen, for me now. But her and Jade would get on like a house on fire.
Do I give people an update on your cysts?
Oh yeah, my sis. I got a CT scan yesterday. That was really exciting. I got a last minute one. They literally rang me Tuesday evening to tell me that they could take me in tomorrow at 20 to 6. And I was like, all right, cool. Where's the appointment? They were like, Tala. I was like, ugh. Have to drive to Dublin. I've never done that before. Also had to be there an hour early because they needed to fill me with fluid. So that was really easy, actually, to be fair, drinking a litre and a half of water in one go. Have a wee scar on my arm now from my wee injections. And they put me through a big machine. And yeah, I have reports, but I have no idea what they mean. So we just wait more.
Yeah, you're speaking to someone on Friday, aren't you?
Yeah, going to a gynecologist. I'm doing so many big girl things. So many big girl things.
I think me and Jen have been waking up mostly over the last month and just looking at each other going, shite being an adult, isn't it? It really is.
It's so shite. Jade was actually telling me back when she lived in America, it was normal for each woman in America to have their own gynecologist, like from childhood. I was like, I just thought you went to a gynecologist like when you were preggers and stuff like that. Like I thought that was just that whole dealio. She's like, no, women's health. I was like, shows how much we're taught in Ireland. But anyway.
Strange considering America's healthcare system, you need to pay for everything. I'd be surprised.
Yeah. Oh, you still pay for it, but it's recommended that you have your own gynecologist from you're a child.
Okay, well, fair.
Yeah.
I'd like
they have some sort of things in order.
I'd love to know the statistics in their kind of health reporting, if that they have less or more per capita than Ireland in terms of like issues when it comes to gynecology issues. Just actually see if it's worth or not.
Yeah. I know Jade, like, she would not use the doctors when she lived over there because obviously you had to pay for them, and her being over on a fees and stuff like that. She was just like, ooh. She got a really bad spider bite once, and literally just some guy that worked in the club with her like took care of her spider bites for her because she wouldn't go to the doctors because she was like, it's thousands over there.
Yeah, to be fair, when I was in Australia, it's not as bad as America, but like I'm coming from Scotland where everything's free, so you can go to doctors, no issue. And they're actually quite friendly. I remember I actually coming to Ireland and try to register for the doctors, and the first thing they said to me was, have you tried anywhere else? And I was like, Jesus, you don't even want me, even though I'm paying money. But Australia, when I was there, I didn't realise at the time, but I was really badly gluten intolerant, so my face kept coming out in rashes and my joints were sore all the time. And bear in mind, I was 21 or 22. I couldn't train, I couldn't whatever. There was a lot going on, so I got really desperate and started going into like doctors and clinics and stuff, trying to get testing and stuff done. But like, I'll tell you what, like it was, I think it was 250, might have been dollars, might have been euro, like equivalent. It was probably about £200 to get seeing somebody, just to actually have a consultation for them to say, oh, by the way, yeah, we'll go get you some blood tests done, and which then cost another like 200 or 300 quid. I'm like, 500 quid out of pocket before I've actually had a thing done yet.
Yeah. The scan that I went for yesterday, I got referred by my GP up for it, but that took a month for them to do that with me. And if I decided, because it's a private clinic, so I could have just went and paid €380 to get the scan done. That literally took less than 10 minutes really for them to do. And I was just like, this is fucking wild. Like, do I just sit in pain for a few weeks and hope for my scans for free, or do I pay the money? And I decided to sit in pain because I don't have the money. Because I went wild that weekend for Adam's 30th and we're paying for it now.
Yeah, well, I was gonna
Throw it
say
on payday.
you did have 3 days on the trot, but right. Well, we get into some.
Fitness.
Yes. Did you? I'm going to ask you a question first. I'll do a Gary here and ask a question that's completely
No.
unrelated to what we'd actually talked about. But did you see? I don't know if it's Serena or Venus Williams thing with the Ozempic.
Don't like it. I'm really annoyed by it. You're not meant to be skinny, gal. You're meant to be strong and, smashing championships of tennis. I don't know really the ins and outs of tennis, but I know she's a fucking pro and she's a beast at it. So why do you want to lose all your strength to just be skinny? I just don't get it.
So
Probably because I've come so far from where I was to now that I'm like, oh God, that'd be the worst decision ever.
for anybody listening who's not seen it, I think it's Serena Williams
Mm,
has put like she's now
the
collaborated
face
with
is
the
epic.
pharmaceutical industry to essentially promote Ozempic. I think it's Ozempic or Manjaro, one of the two. I don't really know. It's one of the kind of weight loss injection drugs. And her kind of stick on it is that she's an athlete. She's always struggled to lose weight. So, like, this was the answer for her. But yeah, there's an advert out that's caused a wee bit of controversy.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on it? What's your hot take?
It doesn't sit well with me, to be honest. I think when you look at Serena Williams, it's not like she's got a massive amount of body fat on her. Like her, we're all like, if you look at natural predispositions, like you look at Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson apparently never lifted a weight in his life, yet the man is fucking like I could lift weights every day until the day I die. I could probably jump on performance enhancing drugs, and I'm not looking like Mike Tyson. Like sometimes your genetic makeup probably does take up about 60 to 70% of your results, and that's fine. But Serena Williams, like with that, she does have powerful muscle mass, and that creates a shape to her. And with that, like she's talking about not being able to like get smaller. Like, yes, you can override that by taking this drug, but really, is that something that's beneficial? My honest thoughts on it are after working with and within like the realms of athletes at the top level myself, I realise that a lot of coaching at that level is a lot of shite anyway. Like there's still some really poor people who work in that industry, and you can be a nutrition, dietitian, whatever, and end up in a job like that, and you still not being great. You're just kind of because you've got qualifications, you can get in there, and a lot of the strength and conditioning, a lot of nutrition, a lot of the support these athletes get, they're not always the best. So I'd like to actually know what Serena Williams had tried to lose body fat in the first place and why she didn't think it wasn't going to work through that. Now, excluding that, I do think though that I mean, to be clear, I think weight loss drugs are there to help people who are in the red zone. By the red zone, I mean people who are really big, holding too much body fat, dangerous to life
Dangerous to
body fat,
themselves.
who genuinely the health conditions on the heart and are pre-diabetic and all of those things, then yes, these drugs can get you out of that, and they can get you to a point where it's safer then to incorporate nutrition and movement and everything else. I think it's a very dangerous narrative going, you're a size 12 and we can get you to a size 10 using this drug. That's a very dangerous thing in my opinion.
And there's not enough like studies on it as well at the moment, like because it is so fresh that like they don't know the long-term effects of it. There is something recently I read somewhere that it was like you generally, if you're going to use it, you have to stick to it as well. Like you can't come off it or else the weight comes back on you or something. And I was just like, what? I don't really try to read into it because it just annoys me a bit because all I see on them female only groups on Facebook is where can I get it cheap? I'm like, oh,
I find it hard not to look at some of that, and they're also the same people who don't know how to track their food and don't really would rather prioritize doing like a 45-minute gym session than they would like doing any form of walking or movement and still eating like a child. So I find it difficult because we all like realistically, if we look at what they want and what they need is, we all want to look and feel great with doing very little, to be honest. So if you have a drug that promises you can eat whatever you want and you don't need to do any effort and you're guaranteed weight loss, of course people are flocking to it. But there's nothing that comes in life without a cost, and the cost to that right now is technically it's unseen, but there's no long-term studies on it. But what we do know is the fact like the mechanism behind it slows down food in your digestive tract. When you're slowing down food in your digestive tract, there's a few things that happen. If you and to be clear on this, Serena Williams is also going to be working with nutritionists to make sure that she's got the right people and can afford the right people around her to guide her through this properly. Mary,
the
who
average Joe does not.
yeah, I was going to say Mary, who's on the couch and is spending all of her money on this weight loss jab and has no clue about nutrition and is still eating fucking microchips for her dinner, isn't going to know what to do on this circumstance. But if you're slowing things down, it means there's less food coming in, which is obvious. But with that, there's becomes less absorption of micronutrients, protein. Like there's a likelihood that you're going to be deficient in a lot of things you don't know you're going to be deficient in just yet. The long term effect of that can be fucking catastrophic, and then like with that you're going to be having less muscle mass because you've got less protein in there. Now let's also be aware, like food is fuel. Like if you're not eating food, then you're going to have less fuel, less energy, less a lot of things. Everything within that takes down your thyroid function will slow down, your metabolic rate will slow down. The moment you come off of these weight loss drugs, you're in a far worse position to lose body fat than you normally would be. So it actually gets harder, which means you're then tied to then doing it again. So it's a bit like when you take steroids. Like you take steroids, you put in more testosterone to your body. Yes, you can gain more muscle mass. Yes, you can lose more body fat. Yes, you have more energy. But the problem within that is you stop producing your own. And the moment you stop taking the steroids, then you're left in a position where you've no longer got synthetic steroids and you've no longer got your own testosterone. Hence the reason that most men develop bitch tits and get really emotional and lose all of their muscle mass. So you're tied to the moment you start taking anything like that, you're tied to almost taking it for life. And I'd imagine whilst it might seem cheap enough at the moment, I don't know if I think it's 150 to 200 quid a month most people pay on it. Like
I think it's 200 up today
could be.
because obviously by demand.
I suppose, yeah, supply and demand would, and again, with more and more people doing it. But like, whilst we're seeing the early effects of people enjoying the tidal wave of yes, that's great. Like, you're going to look at like, whilst that's 200 quid a month, that's 2.5 grand a year. Are you willing to pay 2.5 grand a year every year for the next 10 or 15 years? And then nobody wants to think about this, but nobody can escape it. Like, we're all going to be in our 60s at one point. Well, the average lifespan in Glasgow is about 15, so I don't know if I'll quite get there. But like when you get to your 60s, how how's that going to affect you? Like, look at a 60-year-old at the moment without having things that potentially waste muscle. They're not the most strong, and they're not. I think it's a backward step, to be honest. I know I'm probably hammering this point to death, but yeah, I wouldn't. No, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, we're going to see like a big shift in what 6-year-olds look like now to when we're 60, I think, because there is a lot more people involved in health and fitness that it's going to look very, very different. But then we're going to have another kind of next generation of people maybe looking like the current ones, if that makes sense, because they're going with the injections rather than everyone seems to want something quick in every aspect of life now, I think. Like how to get their assignments done quicker, ChatGPT, how to lose weight, Manjaro, like how to, I don't know, prioritize as much time as they can for themselves to just sit about and do nothing.
I don't want to sound like a dinosaur because I actually do think like certain things can be helpful and we should be progressive with it. Like
Hmm.
I'm not a massive fan of like the idea of having kids on iPads and phones and stuff fucking
Mm-hmm.
rattles me, right? It rubs me up the wrong way. I think it can be used as a distraction method and a lot of people abuse that. But we also need to be aware of how much technology is in our life. Like what we're doing right now is technology. Like this wouldn't exist, this podcast, if it wasn't for technology. Like we use technology and we can leverage it for a benefit. And I think realistically, like Finn growing up, he's going to have to know how to leverage technology. And whilst I don't want him sitting mindlessly scrolling for a phone, we are going to have to grow up and learn how to use it. So it is something that we need to adapt with. And I'm the same with AI gives me the absolute fear because I think that what can be done with it and it being autonomous and like the potential it has is great, but I also think us as human beings, we've got the likelihood of fucking wiping ourselves out if we're not careful because it is there as well. But I think you're also right now, you're going to be left behind if you don't use it appropriately because even when you got your scans back from your original stuff with your womb, it's like,
The first one, the ultrasound, yeah. I used AI to check what that was before the doctors got to me because I knew they were going to take ages.
yeah, but that's what you can do. It's like it's very much a I have something that I don't know, it doesn't make any sense, there's no context towards it. Can you put that into ChatGPT and ask it to kind of break down what it sees? And to be fair, it gave you a fairly on point answer. Like the
Yeah. And they broke it down into layman terms because they did all the like fancy dancy doctor terms. I was like, dyslexic. Tell me in human terms.
so so where that can be used well is like yes, you can use it. Obviously, it's not to be relied on because it can be wrong like anything else. But it can also be the fact that like we can put pictures of like clients' foods that we're unsure about into it to see roughly what that is. It can give you a like I've said it to clients. I'm like I'm not doing whilst I'm going to have a better eye for knowing what calories are potential in something. I've been doing it for years. Like if you do want a very objective view, literally put it into ChatGPT. It can be wrong, like, and sometimes it can be wildly wrong. But again, it can give you a fairly objective answer because some of the things that we've struggled for as coaches in the past is like you'll get people on board who I remember I coached a girl for a while. I used to slag her for this all the time, but she'd have a Chinese on a Friday night and she'd log it as 320 calories. And I'm like, how's your Chinese less than like a chicken sandwich? Like, I don't understand how that makes sense in your head that that's whereas, but it's because she's got the option, MyFitnessPal, to track it as that. And if anything, she's just clicking on things to say that she's tracked it, which is better than nothing, but at the same time,
Yeah.
so inaccurate that realistically, ChatGPT is a tool for her to like when she puts it in, it's probably going to give her a shock and say it's like 1,500 calories, which again, this brings up the
I was
conflict.
just going to say, it's probably going to give her the fear.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, it can bring more awareness. Like the where I have issues with like anything being abused, I see some I see some coaches online just literally hammering out content that you can tell is AI, just it's AI content, it's just generic AI content that they fired out. And you're like, why are you using it for like 5 lines on Instagram? Like, you're not using your brain to put 5 lines together.
That's what's annoying me now is like there's no thought process from people anymore. It's like instead of just Googling something now, it's the go-to is ChatGPT. Like there's so many options I could give out right now, but I'd also be hanging a few people out to dry. And I'm like, do I really want to do that on the podcast? Probably not.
Go on,
Uh,
Shannon, do it. He's gone.
no, well, it'll get me in the bad books. It would. Uh, if anyone wants to know, you can talk to me one to one, but I'll not hang it out here.
Spell the tea, Shannon. Spell the tea.
Oh no, like I really can't.
No,
I can't.
I'm
But I
taking this.
remember just looking at it being like, did you actually type that in the chat GPT to validate what you want as an answer? And like that's just like gimpy in my opinion, God forgive me.
Gimpy. Yeah, I have seen a few people like particularly put like training videos up for like a PB, and then it's like there's this big passage after it going, oh, the hard work, the grind, we're going to war and all that. But I'm like, you can tell you've put that in Chat GPT because there's fucking those double dashes in there, and you can tell that it's like I know that
Doesn't sound like you.
I know like do you know what? Sometimes I actually enjoy the fact that my mum still messages me with all my spelling mistakes. I'm like, well, yeah, it's because I've not filed out in the AI. But yeah, again, we're getting sidetracked a wee bit with it. But
We are getting to
I think there's a cost to absolutely everything. There's a potential that when it comes to like weight loss drugs, I think when used appropriately, they can be helpful. When it comes to like testosterone, TRT, whatever, it can be used appropriately when it needs to be used appropriately. AI can be used appropriately, but I think sometimes when it's been used for the wrong reasons or been used as a, do you know what? I'm actually feeling okay myself, but my perception of what I should be skewed. And I think actually the deeper point to the Serena Williams thing is why is Serena Williams thinking that she has to be any smaller than what she actually is? Why is the body standards like become that inflated that she feels that she has to drive even further down? Like,
because the early 2000s is back in trend. I don't know if you know that, but low-rise jeans and everything else is coming back. So the skinny market is fully back and pushing for it. Swear
yeah,
to God, you can see the early 2000s are coming straight back in. The skinny tees are back, trying to be smaller. She now thinks she's massive. Like, it's all going to go back and it's going to be horrendous. And we've done so much to get away from that, in my opinion.
I'll tell you what though, I didn't mind some of the video games that were out in the early thousands or some of the movies that were out in the early thousands. So if they can replicate some of that, then
That
I'll
would be great. Or the tunes.
or even make football more enjoyable again because it's all now become systemized nonsense with overplayed. Again, the cost and effect. You pay footballers absolutely multi millions before they've actually made it, and the hunger to play football isn't massively high. The wanting to actually play for a football club isn't massively high. They become more of assassins of just wanting to get their biggest paycheck. And
And
yeah, that's anyway. Like again, going off into a different tangent, we do actually have some questions to go through that are questions that have been asked over the last couple of weeks. I did make a wee note of them. I just need to actually find where I put the note of them.
I have them. Do you want me to shoot one at you now?
You can fire one over whilst I actually find the rest of them. Yeah.
How do you deal with snacking when stress is high or routine is messy? For someone that has a very stressful and currently out of sync routine, Kyle, how do you do it?
Being honest, it's you can't escape being a human being, and I'm not going to pretend that I'm perfect because I have had times where I've absolutely made an arse of this and haven't tracked anything for days and weeks on end, and it's become a bit of a cycle. It's taken me years at times to get to the point where I'm like, actually, no matter what, by the end of the year, I've definitely tracked more days than not, no matter what's going on in my life. But I think the things that often work for me is like I'm a lot better, particularly this year because I've done a lot of therapy on it. I'm a lot better at identifying when I am feeling stress. And my usual go to when it comes to stress is to work harder. Whereas I'm actually now needing to take a wee step back and go, well, why are you feeling stressed in the first place and what you're ignoring? So now that I'm aware of the signs, I am aware I need to give my body more of what it needs. And with that, sometimes it is planning ahead of time when it comes to food. So instead of like me being in the moment and going, I'll be fine, I'll work through it and it'll sort itself out. It'll be right, for me, breakfast is the same year round. I've actually got to the point where I actually don't really change it full stop because I've got to the point where like oats and 2 scoops of protein and some frozen blueberries on top. I know that keeps me full for 3 to 5 hours and I don't need to worry about food after it. And I know if I have that any point between kind of 8 in the morning and 11, then I'm kind of good. I'm good and I can get a good solid bit of work done after that. Now, lunch, it's usually a combination of rice or a wrap and some form of chicken, turkey, beef. That's what it is. And dinner, I can be flexible because Jen sometimes makes something, I sometimes make something, but more of my protein and stuff is taken care of earlier in the day, so I don't need to worry about any of that. The big thing for me is planning ahead of time and making sure you have stuff in the house. I always have 2 or 3 of those fit food meals, like the pre-packed meals. I have them in the fridge, not with the intention of having them, but more so just in case if I am running short, I've been on a call, it's ran over, I've again got extra amounts of check-ins to do, whatever. I'm just like, look, I can fire that in the microwave whilst I'm still doing stuff, and it means it's there for me and it can still be tracked. only other thing I would say is when you are stressed, your emotion, your sleep, your leptin, your ghrelin, your cortisol, they're all higher or lower. The hormone that makes you feel full is lower, so you always feel hungry no matter what food it is that you have, or you're more likely to. The hormone that makes you feel fuller is less so. Sorry, the one that makes you feel hungry. Never mind. You're more hungry and you're less full. And cortisol also affects your food choices because you're more likely to emotionally eat. So I would make sure that you've avoided. So, see all the things that are in front of you. I often find that if something's in front of you, you're going to snack on it. So, like since Jen's been diagnosed with diabetes 2 years ago, she has to have sugar readily available all the time. But with that said, we've now got fucking snack bowls just in eye level all the time, and I don't have a sweet tooth, but I find myself sometimes just like picking at them, and I'm like, "What are you doing, mate? Like, what are you?" Sort of, I think sometimes just having it in front of you, it's more likely, yeah, to snack on it. So I probably would either portion it off so that you have it like in sandwich bags or containers that are like a certain amount of calories, or that you just don't have it in front of you at all. I think that's me done.
Yeah. I was laughing when you were saying that you were snacking on the sweets, even though you don't have a sweet tooth. I remember you eating chocolate and pistachios with me up at the Belfast Marathon. You don't even like pistachios, but because I had them, you ate them.
Yeah, yeah, I don't like pistachios.
Yeah. And you were like, I don't even like these, but I'm just eating it. And I was just like, okay. If I don't like something, I'd just not eat it, but okay.
This is probably going to be the most controversial thing that I might have ever said, but I don't think I've ever been in a shop and bought a chocolate bar. Like, I don't think I've ever in my life just went, I want a chocolate bar and I'll buy it.
Oh, that's wild.
But if it was in front of me and like I'm super stressed, I'm hungry, whatever, like I'm likely to want to just, I'll pick it up and mindless eat it. Like,
What bar though? That's the question.
but this is the thing, I don't particularly have a massive sweet tooth, so I don't really care. Do you know what I actually used to really like that doesn't exist anymore? Do you know the was it Twix roll things? The Twix.
Oh, I know the Milky Way rolls.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Milky Way rolls, yeah.
Oh, they were amazing and low
Or
in calories, actually.
and Mars Delights, they were good as well, but they don't exist
Didn't
anymore.
have a Mars Light. Never had one.
No, see, the thing is, like, I just, I don't know. Maybe it is the ex-alcoholic part of me, but I always just compared things to cans, and I'm like, if there's a chocolate bar at 200 calories, or I can have a can of beer or cider for 200 calories. I'm choosing the beer or cider every
Can.
day of the week. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whereas I'd be like, give me the chocolate bar now. Um, Very similar to you. Like I'm very much structured with my breakfast and lunch. So it's the same thing. Literally, even on Christmas Day, I still had my Weetabix. Like everyone was like, "What are you doing?" And my family like the big fry up, and I was like, "I'm just so in a routine with the Weetabix that I'm like, I actually don't want to change it up because like no day I'll feel shy afterwards because I have not had a big fry up in years, and it's not because I don't want it. It's just I've gotten into such a routine that I'm like, what if that upsets my stomach now and then I'm fucked for the rest of Christmas? Who knows? Um, but dinner does be flexible. Like I could be on the go. Like even yesterday, I had to drive to Dublin. Like I think this is so funny. I am driving 8 years and I have never drove to Dublin on my own ever in 8 years that I'm driving because I am such an anxious person that the thought of that freaks me out too much to do it. So there's no shopping up in Dublin for Shannon. There's none of that. She just stays local, shops local. I don't even go to Newry by myself. So got up to Dublin, stressed of that already. Had to get the CT scan. Didn't realize they were going to put fucking ink in my body either. So that was a bit stressful getting an injection of ink. Came out eventually and it was like peak traffic time in Dublin. And I was just like, it's going to be at least an hour and a half before I get home. I'm fucking starving at this point. And there was a Supermax beside the clinic. And I just said, I'm fucking having the goujons and chips. Like I am just going to take a moment, eat these goujons and chips, calm myself down, and get on the road. And even last night, I was like, some people would probably have been like, "Fuck it, they've ruined everything." And I was like, I just had to change right my. It still fit in my macros. It still fitted in everything. I got decent protein. Going to say it now, Supermax. is the ultimate for getting your protein in. The chicken is like legit brilliant. I think for like less than 400 calories, I had like 60 something grams of protein. Just
Yeah.
saying, pretty deep in my opinion. But instead of freaking out and thinking I fucked and then spending today getting up and just going again, fucking it up again, eating whatever I wanted, I just said, it is what it is. And I just move on. I was in a stressful situation and that's what I needed right there. Just to eat and calm down and not be hungry. Because I would have killed someone on the roads.
I think that's it. I think I'll be honest, I think since I've genuinely like having therapy and stuff has massively helped in terms of like just managing stress and controlling controllables and stuff. Because I always used to think I was okay at managing stress. I just didn't realize that I was in a constant stress state all of the time and just didn't know any differently to it. But I think a lot of it is when people are under stress, they're like, oh, I'm so far away from, like, you're in this flight or fight mode and it's survival. And it's like when survival's there, it's like if you don't, it's not that you don't want to still look after your health and fitness goals. It's more of a case where, like, the predominant thing is you getting through the circumstance you're in. What people sometimes are unaware of, though, is the fact that, like, how stressed that they are all of the time. So, like, the fact that they're like, right, I need to get through today and then tomorrow will be okay. And then the next day is actually not a great day either. And then it becomes they have like one out of every like 2 weeks is a good day. And like sometimes it's very difficult to manage that. But for what it's worth, I still sometimes like sure Jen and I went to the hospital to for Jen's dad on Saturday last week, and fuck me, I'll tell you what, like it was 12:30 we left in dock. We didn't actually get to see him till 4:30. It was pissing down rain. Finn was trying to escape the buggy the entire time. He was overtired. Like it was honestly a nightmare. It was one of those ones that like I don't know if I should be saying this in the podcast, but like neither of us really wanted to be there. Being honest, we were there just to kind of like make sure Jen's dad had what he wanted and was okay and everything else. Like, but it's not like what we chose to do on a Saturday. But we're both kind of sitting going, we're overtired, we're hungry, we've not had a moment for each other. If anything, we'd originally planned that we were going to go to cinema for the first time in God knows how long, and that fell through because Jen's dad got taken to the hospital. So we're already feeling pretty hard done by. We went to the cafeteria there to get Finn something to eat, and we were planning to get something to eat, but the cafeteria was awful. So we're like, we didn't get anything. We're just like seeing the way home. We're just like, right, we're going to get Domino's, and that's what's happening. We're stopping on the way home. We're picking up a Domino's, and being completely transparent, the last thing in my mind was like, I'm counting calories. I'm like, this is a day of all days. But I'm also at the point where I'm like, I trust myself the next day that I'm not going to try and make up for it anymore. Like I'm not changing or altering my calories. I am not doing anything to make up for that and the next day becoming a tough day. I'm literally just going to go, right, cool, I'm back on it with tracking food. I'm back on it with moving. My day literally started the same way as every other day that has, but I gave myself what I needed the night before.
Amen to that.
Texas barbecue pizza. I'll tell you what though. So we went for a 2-for-1. We went for 2 medium pizzas, 2 sides, and cookies. Now
you went all out.
Oh, listen here, we're feeding a family of fucking don't even know how many it is if you include the 2 cats and the dog there, because Rocky wants chicken strippers. Finn wants some chips. So that's where the 2 sides came from. The cookies, I'm not big, again, wouldn't have picked them, but Jem was like, I want cookies. I'm like, right, cool, yeah. When a diabetic tells you want cookies,
girl dinner.
No saying no. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think when there was a point to that. Oh yes, sorry. Texas barbecue pizza is always what we get. Like it's the goat. But when it comes to the second pizza, I was like, we were getting the cheeseburger pizza for a while, but I was like, Jen, you've kind of went off the cheeseburger pizza, haven't you? And she's like, yeah, a wee bit. But you know what? If we do a half and half, the second one, and we get half of a cheeseburger and half whatever it was, like hot and spicy or something, I don't know. So yeah, no worries. We drove back from Dublin, picked up Andromeda, eventually got home, opened the box. They forgot to put any of the cheeseburger sauce on the cheeseburger pizza, so it just was like a very boring, don't even know, it was like a margarita pizza with a wee bit of beef on it. And I was like, every part of me was disappointed with it, but I'm like, you know what, it's just the day it is. I'm still going to enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
move on with it. Like,
Controversial. I hate Domino's. Think it's dirt. Especially the garlic mayo is rotten, in my opinion.
um, I think that's more controversial than me saying that I've never bought a chocolate bar, Shannon.
Apache's for the win, and I have a theory behind it. Country people like Apache pizza, town people like Domino's because we don't have Domino's out in the countryside, but we do have an Apache close to us.
What's your thoughts on Pizza Hut?
Uh, I only remember Pizza Hut as like a child being up in like Swords, like mom taking you up to Swords for Christmas shopping, and Pizza Hut being there. So can't really say much about it.
Um, I remember. I feel like Pizza Hut just reminds me of like, see, when I was like a child and teenager and getting taken to I don't know if that's again a city thing, but got taken to restaurants and it was like you picked your own pizza and then got yourself an ice cream after it. That's what Pizza Hut reminds me of. I don't recognize it as somewhere you get like a takeaway from. Like,
Takeaway, no, neither. Is there even a Pizza Hut near us? There is. There's one in
as
Dundalk.
everybody forgets about it. I'm almost thinking it's like the Mandela effect, where nobody actually. If you surveyed 100 people in Dundalk and asked them, like, is there a Pizza Hut that exists? Like, I'd say probably 70 of them would say no. You'd probably have 30 saying yes because nobody remembers there's a Pizza Hut. I've never heard anybody getting a Pizza Hut, and I've been coaching. I've been coaching overweight people for a fucking long time, and I've never heard of somebody getting a Pizza Hut.
No one's like, oh, I can't wait to get that Pizza Hut when I get home.
Yeah, just doesn't hit the same. I'd be like,
The
you're.
Dundalk had a four-star pizza and it was banging. I will say that. And it didn't last long, and I can't understand why because me and Adam got it once and we were like, holy shit, this is a good pizza, actually.
I have. This is again, if you're talking about like how to manage things, I very rarely, I'm splurging if I get a takeaway that I can't track accurately. So I'll go Domino's because I know I can track the macros. I'll sometimes get McDonald's because I know that I can track the macros. Very rare. I love a kebab, but I'm like, if I'm getting a kebab, I'm just having a fuck it that's happening, or
Yeah.
it's been planned for a while. But that's where I feel about pizzas and stuff as well. I'm like, oh, 4-star pizza, as much as it sounds good, I'm like, it gives me a wee bit of anxiety not knowing how many calories are in it. Like, what's that going to be?
It's a franchise, but it's no longer in Dundalk. But yeah, I would be very similar to that. Like even yesterday with the Supermax, although I was in the fuck it, I'm just getting something now, I'm starving. I also knew that you could track Supermax, and I was like, all right, it's actually not that shabby. It's a franchise. I'm still getting my protein in there with my little chicken nuggets and happy out with my wee can of Coke,
There's a
Diet Coke.
there's a takeaway here that you can that are calorie counted, isn't it? I can't remember the name of them. It's Camille or something, is it? I can't come out.
Yeah, it's up in Dublin as well. Like it'd be a bougie wee one. It'd be like Chinese, I think, or like Indian. I don't know.
I'm
Never
going.
had it.
I'm going to completely kibosh this conversation for a better argument here. Why is it people in Dundalk say up to Dublin when it's very much down? You physically can't go up to Dublin. You go down to Dublin. Does my head in.
Don't know. It's just the way we were raised. You go up always. We're always looking up.
No, you don't know because I've heard many people say go down to the north, which also makes no fucking sense because north is upwards. You physically can't go down to north. It hurts my soul. Intrinsically hurts my soul.
You have to know Dundalk is a special place, and there's no rules in Dundalk. They do what they want.
I'm aware. I remember
Narnia.
now. Bear in mind, I moved over to Ireland in October. I heard somebody, I think November time, saying I'm going down to the north to get the Santi presents. And I'm like, who's Santi? You're going down to the north. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Where have I moved to?
Do you call him Father Christmas?
Call him Santa, like 99% of the rest of the world calls him Santa. Don't know why when you're from Dundalk you call him Santi. Like, where did that come from?
No, no, it's been wee Santa Claus.
Just, I've never heard him. Now bear in mind,
What does Jen say?
Santa.
Oh, she's Black Rock. She's
Mm,
bougie.
Well, it was her mum and her brother that also called him Santi, so they're not that bougie. I think it's just, I don't know what's going on there. But, anyway, look, we'll leave the Santi argument. I'm going to ask you a question because we kind of got stuck on question one and we've got about 12 to go through. We'll not get through them all on this podcast, but
No, we'll save some for Gary on his return.
just give Gary a podcast to himself and the questions and let him rip.
Just put Slimming World into it and he'll have a fucking field day. Or Joe Willis. Triggered. That would be the ultimate torture for him.
Who's that? Joe Wicks.
Joe Wicks or Slimming World put Gary into like a haunted house of just them.
Right. Question.
Go for it.
Is it still progress if you swap a structured session for something else, e.g., like a run instead of a gym workout?
Yeah. Because you're still showing up for yourself and you're getting 1% better. You mightn't have the energy to do, say, the full gym workout. You might be feeling a little more fatigued. If going for a light jog helps you still move forward and keep the pace for yourself, then yeah, I would say that is progress.
Cool. I don't.
I'm very short and sweet with my answers, unlike you, Mr. Science.
I know. Also, like, I'm almost incapable sometimes, like, of not chasing these things. I'm like, it's an issue. I'm trying to work on it. Yes and no. I'm going to answer the question as yes and no. So I'll give you the yes in the sense it depends what purpose it is behind it. So realistically, if your goal is to get stronger and over time you're doing like 3 or 4 gym sessions a week, like is you turning up for yourself and wanting to do something different. I'll give an example of that. So when I was deep into powerlifting, like every session was become very taxing. There was points where I'm like, I can only get to the gym for half an hour this morning, and being honest, I can't be arsed putting on fucking squat shoes and like knee sleeves and a belt, and the time I actually warm up to the working weight is I'll literally probably not get done what needs to be done. Like, is there an issue with me going in and just doing something I like? Probably not for my mental health. Is it massively going to move me forward? Also probably not, if I'm being honest. Because I see this quite a lot, if you're deciding to do a run out of nowhere, like, and it's just a single isolated run, whilst again, I'm not taking away from that, that's good for your mental health, it will help the steps short term, it probably does make you feel better, it's what you need at the time, 100%. But realistically, if it's not progressive over time, it's hard to make an argument that that's going to move you forward. So realistically, anything needs to be done through progression, needs to be measured and monitored to a point where like you can see a cohesive line. Now, it doesn't need to be a case where you're doing like so much structure that it's like it's unfathomable, but at the same time, it does need to have some form of structure behind it if you are wanting to see progression, because otherwise you're just exercising. Exercising isn't bad, but training is what's going to move you forward longer term. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like you're the Simon Cowell and I'm the Louis Walsh of this like X Factor podcast. You're so hard cutting, and I'm just like, everyone gets through. Yay!
Yeah, it's funny because you'd be the version of the X Factor where there was, let's say, 50,000 applicants, and at the end of
We all have
there would
to
still be 50,000 people there, and you'd be talking about friendship.
I wouldn't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Yeah, we know. We know. Do you want to ask a question, Shan?
I'll ask a question.
Or Louis? Will I call you Louis?
Let me see. Louis. Although he's meant to be a wee bit of a bollocks as well, so maybe I'm Sharon Osbourne because she's nice too. How do you manage fitness while traveling or on holidays when you don't have access to your normal gym or routine?
Do you want my unscientific answer, my realistic answer for this? I don't. I genuinely, I don't train on holiday. I have trained once ever on holiday, because I train every other week of the year that I give myself permission not to train, and I enjoy training, but the last thing I'm doing is, if I'm going for a week somewhere sunny, is fucking going to the gym. Now, there's a difference. If you're somebody who's going on holiday for 3 weeks and your the expectation is the fact that like over a 3 week period you probably can lose a bit of fitness and you can lose a bit of strength and muscle, then yeah, if you want to go for a gym session, then absolutely go for it. But I would accept the fact that like your equipment's going to be different, you're going to be training to relative intensity, you're going to have to make do with what there is. Probably would just stick to the basics: push, pull, some form of leg movement. You're still on holiday. Like the conversation is what you want from the holiday and what you want when you're back. Probably just look at, you're not going to be scooping pre-workout and hyping yourself up to go and like rep max squats or anything. You're going there to get a wee bit of movement, a wee bit of intensity, and then backing off from there. But Niall, I fucking mentioned 2 podcasts in a row. This hurts my soul a wee bit again, but sure, he took his running shoes.
Niall's going to feature soon.
Niall's what?
Going to feature soon on this podcast.
Oh yes, I've also got someone else that I'm working on as well that's not Niall. But I was going to say, considering he's now been name dropped twice, it's probably a shame if we don't get him on the podcast at some point. But for everybody to realise how much a dick he is. But he brought his shoes on holiday because he was away for like essentially a month in Greece. But then you've got Sarah as well, who she was going to Spain for a month each year, and she's like, I want to train whilst I'm out there. Like, I think Jess as well also brings, these are just people that come top of mind. They all do it. In my opinion, I don't, but also I'm not going away for extended periods of time. So with that said, you could argue that like I'm going to Glasgow next week, and going to Glasgow, I probably am going to continue bringing my running shoes, and we'll have some gym clothes over there that I might make an appearance. Like,
you're not allowed to run.
Well, no, I wasn't allowed to run last week. I'm allowed to do 1 minute on, 1 minute off this week. And the way I see it is Glasgow on Monday's a new week, so I can start building up that way, Shannon. So how do I say it? Get it around you. But with that, like, I've got
just kind of like you're injured, sir.
I've got clients and mates in Glasgow who like I sometimes catch up with, and it might be a case where it's like we don't actually get. We're not at a point where we go out and drink in the pub really anymore. So it'll be a case where it's like, oh, do you want to go to the gym? Cool, I'll catch up with you in the gym and we'll do a wee session together or something. With that said, I'll probably not be doing my normal session where I'll be looking at the app and going, I need to do a session that's 50 minutes, an hour and 10. I'll probably just be going, right, we'll go in and we'll do a wee bit. We might do push, pull, legs, something like that. And then that'll be it. Like, that's probably the way I would do it. But do you have any other thoughts on that?
I do not train on holidays. Again, I'm very much like you. Like, I don't go away for extensive periods of time. Sure, my holiday was going to Oasis this year because we're saving.
Did you train? Did you train at Oasis, mate?
Yeah, I did some crunches up at the stands, some squats and stuff like that to just keep myself balanced up there. Uh, but me and Adam have never trained on holidays. Anytime that we did go away, we're very much there to enjoy the holiday. Now, that being said, we fucking ace our steps because we're scabby bastards like that. We love walking when we're on holidays. So like public transport, don't know who that is. Like, we will walk everywhere. I know when we were in Rome, we did not use one bit of public transport. We literally were getting like 40,000 steps a day walking from one place to the other. But we enjoy that. That's our kind of form of exercise when we're away. Now, if I was going on a holiday for an extensive period of time and I don't know, say it's Bali or something like that, and they have them funky, cool gyms, I'd probably be more tempted to go for the nosy and maybe, like yourself, just put something together when I'm there just to experiment with different machines maybe that I wouldn't be familiar with or anything like that. But it wouldn't be very structured. It would just be kind of fucking about and finding out and having a bit of crack with it. But one thing that does annoy me, and no shade to bodybuilders, but see this crack of them going on holidays and they're bringing their fucking pre-workouts and their fucking oats and they're working out on the holiday. I feel guilty when I watch them videos. I'm like, should I be doing that? I'm like, well, no, I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder, but like it's almost forced upon you that like there's no rest for the wicked. Like, fuck off. Enjoy fucking Spain, please.
Okay, I think if we unpack that a wee bit more, I agree with you 100%. Bodybuilders are a different breed of people. And that's no shame on what they do. It's just more of a case of if your entire sport is dictated on like you being like 0.01% better than the person beside you, then that's where those, did you have good sources of protein, like did you train on holiday? That's where those things matter. But you are talking about people who are, to be fair, bodybuilders have more, and there's studies to back this up, have more body issues than anybody, hence the reason they do what they do. They can continue getting to points where they look their best, but then it's not good enough, so they train and do things harder. But if anything, if you speak to a bodybuilder, like, they can't see what condition they're in the first place, so they're tied to the fact that most of it's done through guilt rather than looking to be the best looking version of themselves. But that's a conversation for a different day. I do think, yeah, we are not at the point where we're looking at like whey protein versus should you have whey protein versus whey isolate protein because one of them digests like fucking 3 minutes quicker than the other one. Like, realistically, where we are we getting enough protein in there? Is that, and like the majority of people we coach is like, can I still go out with my husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend at a weekend and have something that I want from a menu and not feel guilty about it? Can I go on holiday and manage that without putting on 10 kilos again? Like, those are the type of things that we're looking at rather than I have a competition coming up in 16 weeks and need to be at 6% body fat. Like,
No, it wouldn't be a bit of me now. All credit where credit's due, but I couldn't live my life. That's literally living it in Tupperware, I think, all year round, from what I've gathered.
question on the back of that then. I just read one there, I
Ooh.
kind of picked out of a random order, but something that does come up quite a lot. How do you avoid tracking fatigue when if logging every meal starts to feel draining?
How do I avoid tracking fatigue?
So,
Uh,
do you understand the question or do you want me to reword it?
Reword it a wee bit for me there.
So if someone was tracking their food all the time and they're starting to go, I'm getting sick of tracking, it just feels overwhelming. I've been doing it for a while and it's starting to get to the point where like I'm finding myself kind of half-arsing it or I'm not enjoying it anymore. How do you help them in that situation?
What I would suggest is probably not something a lot of people would like, as in coaches, because then they're like, oh, you're letting them off the rails a wee bit. But I don't track 7 days a week. And if I felt comfortable enough that the client was very much in the same position where I've gotten to that point that I don't need to track 7 days a week because I'm pretty fucking good at it. And if I knew the client was at that point as well, I would very much be like, right, we can take a day where we don't necessarily need to track our food, just like I do it. Now, it's very rare that I would see someone get to that point so far in my coaching career, but I've never had to take it off anyone that I have given it to before because I have full trust that they're not going to go fucking hell for leather with it. Um, Bear in mind, Shannon Sherman does go fucking hell for leather, but that's an average week for Shannon. She still makes progress, guys. I don't know what she does. Everyone asks her secrets because she's clearly got them. But I would look at reducing the amount of days that we're tracking as such, just to see if that helps. Another thing that I did find beneficial for me was taking a week off tracking, just not looking at my fitness pal for a week. Did my diet change? No, I ate the exact same things. I might have just got a fucking extra few croissants in there throughout the week. That was about it. But you'd be surprised at how much you're able to commit to your like nutrition without realizing you need to put it into your device. A lot of people just eat the same meals over and over again once you kind of get into the swing of it, in my opinion. I don't think people need mad variety for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I think they just need between 3 to 4 meals, switch them up each week. Did that answer your question?
There's no right or wrong answers, in my opinion.
I thought that was really long. I was like, I feel like I'm talking forever here.
Jesus, it's still very short compared to what I normally say. Yeah, no, it did. Like, it did. It answered, like, it's a good viewpoint to have, and I don't disagree with any of it. I think, like anything, we need to look at the reasons that someone's not wanting to track in the first place. And I understand. I've said it. Like, there's days where I don't track, and as much as technically I think I do have an on-track day in a week, I don't actually know if I do or don't. It's just sometimes don't track a day. But it's more so the fact I don't really eat overly dissimilarly most days. As we touched on at the very start of the podcast, I have the same breakfast slash lunch most of the time. Things might get a bit more flexible at the weekends or days where there has to be, but like I think a lot of the time the question I would have is what's someone's relationship like with food in the first place? Like what's a reason you don't want to track? It's for me it's sometimes like when people don't ever want to look at their bank accounts, it's usually because they're kind of acting a little bit like an arsehole and it gives them a bit of stress. And if anything, what stops that is managing it better at source rather than looking at like tracking is just a symptom of what's going on deeper. And if we don't look at that, then we ignore it. But the other thing is like you don't need to track every single day. Like, I would argue two things. If you're looking at fat loss, the most direct way to get there is by tracking your food. There's no way around that. Like, you having an untracked day or two, particularly when you're not managing food great in the first place, like, is that going to help bulletproof your results? No. The biggest issue you would have alongside that is if you stop tracking and you start eating more and your weight's not going in a controllable fashion, then at that point you start to get anxiety, you start to question what you're doing, it starts to seep into the rest of your days. Tracking on the days that you're tracking feels harder because you're not getting the result you want in the first place. Like, realistically, probably there's an argument to say like tracking all of your food, but just actually looking at the issue at hand is better. But I would probably be asking why you don't want to track in the first place. Is it because you feel the calories are harder to manage? Because if that's the case, let's look at how your calories are. Let's actually deal with that. Like, I have given people on-track days, and I've had two different responses. People like yourself can manage it well because you're at a stage where we built that in and we looked at your relationship with food and it's been a longer process. I always find it funny where some people, like, I've had people stay with me for what, 4 years, 5 years at this point, and that's because the journey isn't just a let's lose body fat. It's a case of relationship with food, relationship with self, relationship with training. Like, these are the things that, like, you're at a point where you can manage food for the rest of your life because you've went through that process. But if you're someone who's 3 to 6 months in and you're like, my relationship with food's still not good, you're going, well, yeah, it's not, but there's got to be some deeper questions that need to be asked, and it shouldn't be like right now it's a case we're building on it. That's why you came in the first place. This is the deeper work. We've got you moving in the right direction, and that's the thing to look at in the first place. We have moved you in the right direction. You're looking better, you're feeling leaner, you can manage food better, but at the same time, that relationship with food doesn't. If you've had a relationship with food that's been shite for 28 years or 30 years, like, it's not going to fix itself in 3 months. Like, it's a case where we need to continue chipping away at that, and that's okay. But I think coming with the relevant questions and also understanding, I know I've went on a tangent here again, but I think also understanding not everything in life needs to be, I think we're so, this is the issue that you have with short-term fixes. Our attention spans are getting lower, our ability to be bored, our ability not to want to do things, our resilience is lower. So you always want everything to feel like it's dopamine filled and shiny hits, and you can log food in a day and nothing happens. The next day you log it again, nothing happens. The next day after that, nothing happens. And to a lot of people, that's like, well, that's not fun and exciting. I'm like, well, it's not meant to be, but that's also why a lot of people aren't in shape and don't manage food. And I think it's 66% of people can't log food after 4 days. Like, that's, if you log food for more than 3 days in a row, you're in the top 33%. If you log food for 5 days, you're in the top 20%. If you log food for a week, you're in the top 12% of users. I mean, that's a fucking worrying stat, but it's not meant to be fun. But look at other things that you do in your life. You go to work. A lot of people, I go to work in a job enjoy. Don't enjoy it every day. Like, some days I wake up and go, I can't think of anything fucking worse to do than today. But do you know what happens if I don't turn up? Like, we probably get away with it for a day. 2 days, starts to be a problem. 3 days, we're in trouble. Like, over time, it'll cause issues. Done.
Amen. I was about to say, you're probably waking up on those days being like, fuck, I've got Shannon's check-in today.
Some days, yeah, not gonna lie.
Yeah. You're like, what is she going to fucking bring today?
Well, more recently, is it going to be in time? But
Yeah, I've been very bold with my check-ins the last wee while.
I was going to say, Shannon, who had barely had a late check-in in 3 months or 3 years, has now been late check-ins galore. And even
Android, I think I have a problem, Kyle.
feel like you're turning into a past version of me.
Yeah, I think I've been mini you, Dr. Evil and mini me now.
Gary's just got back to me. He's going to Tenerife.
Tenerife. Yup, the lad. Lucky, lucky man.
Yeah. I was gonna
You
say,
know he charges people now to get photos with him. The lucky fella.
I thought you meant Gary, and I was like, oh Jesus, he got a side business I don't know about.
No, the lucky man, the famous one from Tenerife. I know when Adam and all them went on that stag, it was €20 they paid to get a photo with him. I was like, you aren't right in the head. €20.
I don't even know who the guy is, so it'd be a waste of money for me. But
I don't know. He was like a meme at one point. I don't know. Couldn't tell you his name. He's just the lucky man.
I'm semi-convinced that Gary's not on the podcast today because Rangers haven't won a game this season and got beat 6-0 last night. So I've got a feeling that he's avoiding it. And Celtic play Rangers on Sunday, and he's going to be in Tenerife for it. So I'd say that, listen,
Oh,
I feel for him, man. But anyway, like moving on. Um,
one more.
one more for the team.
Let me find a question for you. How do you deal with low motivation weeks where you just don't want to train or stick to the plan?
Um, I think a year ago I'd give you a very different answer to what I'm giving you now. So I think a year ago I'd have said, like, there's if I only ever trained on the days that I wanted to train, realistically, I'd probably train 1 day a week, if that. Like, I probably more often than not, I'm like, there's other things I could be doing with my time, and genuinely just don't feel like it. However, I think sometimes, and it is important to listen to your body, but at the same time, I think sometimes there's just too many thought processes behind things. It's like if you're, for instance, if you're leaving your gym session to late in the evening time and the stress of work constantly catches up on you, and by the time you've started the day, you've been, oh, I'm looking forward to the gym or I'm wanting to do that, and then by 5 o'clock you're like, oh fuck, I'm just going to go straight home and we'll start tomorrow. There's probably a pattern there, and it's not actually the want of it, it's just the fact that your energy's been drained. I would probably look at shifting your time around and just go, I train first thing in the morning because I'm like, I don't have time to think about it. I literally get up, I go, and I move, and I'll feel my way into it. There's no pressure on it. It's just a case where I'll go and I'll do it. My stuff is on an app that I look at. I just literally go through it, and that's me done. And I know I feel significantly better for it afterwards. If it's a short term thing where you're somebody who normally is training all the time and you're just having a bit of a dip, then probably accept, like anything else, there will be a dip in anything you do. There's millionaires who are bored. There's people who get to do what they want to do on a daily basis who get bored of that thing. It's a case where that's human nature, that you're not going to absolutely love what you're doing all of the time. Again, if you only ever turned up to work on the days that you were buzzing to go, you'd probably be working a lot less than what it is. There is a difference there. You need to be careful though, because there are times where your body might be trying to give you signs, and maybe it is a case where, have you been training too hard? Is there all external stresses right now you're not dealing with? Is that impacting things? Because you'll know, being a client, that there are times where I've said to you, Shannon, just don't go to the gym this week. It's like, you can go if you want. Yeah,
Enough.
but it's like the permission to go, do you know what? Give yourself a little bit of rest time. The difference is, though, there's people who give themselves the permission not to go to the gym every week, all day, every year. That's different to someone who's very much at it, and it's like, I'm having a really tough week and I'm tired. There's other stresses that are clearly going on. You're not going to lose any strength or muscle for not going to the gym for a week. You're not going to lose any body composition. I take the permission of, do you know what? Don't go if you don't want to go. And what we said earlier in the question, if showing up for yourself is that week you want to go a run in the morning to get fast steps in, and that feels better because you can breathe better and it gives you a bit of time to decompress, that's the week to do it. If there's a case where you want to sleep in, the last 2 weeks ago, I was burst going up and down Jen's dad, the Finn wasn't sleeping, there were stresses at work, physio appointments, man, week was whatever. I booked myself into CrossFit Wednesday morning, and I was like 6:30 in the morning, I got up and I'm fucking shattered. I am not going this morning, and that's very unlikely, but I'm giving myself permission to go this week. It's just, there's so much going on. I'm trusting myself to get back into it next week, or when I feel better on Thursday or Friday. I didn't feel better on Thursday or Friday, so I gave myself the week off, but I think sometimes you're okay to do that.
Yeah, 100%. And like anything, motivation is just a feeling. Like when we feel sad, what do we tend to do with that? We try to fix it. So when people always say I don't have the motivation to train and stuff like that, I'm like, right, is it actually motivation you're lacking, or is it your body's looking for something else right now? Like if you're saying you don't have the motivation, is it the willpower, or is it generally outside, like outer external stresses that's causing it? Because we're all about feelings now. And if we felt like doing things all the time, then we'd be fucking buzzing, wouldn't we? I don't even feel I woke up this morning not feeling like fucking training today. I literally been to Dublin twice now in the last 12 hours doing an airport run. I even woke up this morning, I was like, ah, fuck, I have to do this podcast now. Shit, I'm so tired. But as the morning has progressed, I'm like, right, because this morning I rode off training, I was like, nah, I'm too tired right now. But as the morning has now progressed, I'm like, right, I mightn't do my best performance. I'm feeling a bit more awake, but if I just go in and see how it feels for now and just do what I can, then that's the best I can do in this moment in time. But it doesn't have to be a fucking 10 out of 10 now. Whereas probably me last year would have been like, it's all or nothing. I have to be the best performer in the place. I have to hit a PB. Now, like, I just need to get a box ticked, and then that's me G at the moment.
I think if you can sometimes continue to show, because I think what's important is everybody's going to have rough periods. There's nobody that me or you have ever worked with that has had the most wonderful time for particularly the longer time you do it. I used to say it's like there's nobody I've ever met that's had a really straightforward 3 months where it's just been like that's plain
No
sailing,
wish.
had obstacles in place. But I think if you can ride the tougher times, that's when you'll see the fruits of that when things are a little bit smoother and better and you don't know yourself. And the amount of people that I've spoke to going, I'm really glad we've got through that tough time because I'm really enjoying things right now and whatever. I'm like, yeah, because fitness, health, body composition, they're all lagging metrics. They're all a product of what you've done a couple of weeks ago rather than what you're doing right now. Because I know I said it with your track and food, but you can go to the gym today and you'll see no changes tomorrow. You can go to the gym the next day, no changes, no changes, and no changes. You continue to see that week in, week out. And it takes you probably 3 or 4 weeks before you see the smallest even glimmer of, oh, that might look slightly different, which it's a difficult one for me when you get clients coming in and sometimes it's like they're looking at
In
the
the first week,
progress.
they're like, wow, I've changed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, when you see them or hear them comparing the progress pictures to week 1 to week 2 and going, oh, I can't see any difference yet. And I'm like, oh, strap in. We are going to be. It's going to be a while before you see it, and that's I often try and set expectations. Going, it's probably going to be at least 6 weeks before you see. It's not that you're not going to notice it, and yeah, it's not that you're going to notice small changes. You might notice it in your clothes. You might feel a bit better, muscular swelling. You might feel a little bit leaner. But in terms of like, if you're looking for those bigger changes where you're like, oh, I've seen a drop in dress size. My work clothes no longer fit me. I'm looking at like my progress pictures and going, I can see a difference. You're talking at least 6 to 8 weeks, but that's 6 to 8 weeks of doing the thing consistently and seeing little to nothing in the meantime, which is a hard sell for people. And I can understand why you want to inject yourself with something to see that quicker. But I think that probably the hardest question to ask is it the fact that you can't see anything, or is it the fact you were never patient enough with it in the first place to actually see it come through?
Mic drop.
Yeah. Well, anyway, welcome to, or thank you for coming to the Fit With Us podcast.
Welcome to our podcast without Gary.
Welcome to our podcast with Gary. I've tried my best to go on tangents and rants to make up for Gary's not being able to do it himself this week.
You did well.
Cheers.
You did well.
I,
We survived and thrived. We like to thank Toby and Dave for the tunes.
I was just
Look at me being on point.
Gary's not getting his job back. Yes, Shannon.
Kyle, where can they find you?
Oh Jesus, you're ahead. Kyle underscore.
It's actually my podcast.
Shannon, where can they find you?
Shan underscore biofitness. 2 ends in the Shan, just in case you find another account. It's not me. They're fakers.
It's probably a better account to follow. But anyway, on that, cheers, guys. We'll speak to you next week.
Bye.